I launched my second channel, which is about non-esports topics, around 3 weeks ago. And in that time, I've published 7 videos on the channel. So this is an update to give you a brief overview of those 7 videos. And if someone's interested, they can go over and watch them. But in general, so that I'm not bombarding people here with information about the second channel, which isn't about esports. So the first video I did, which I'll link there, was called Demystifying Your Success. And it was basically about my life philosophy that you actually should do other people a favor by explaining your sources and how you came to ideas and exactly what kind of work you put into things like that, and to not kind of give yourself some mystique that you're some brilliant man just by them not having any of these concepts. So it's more of a philosophy video. Then I'll link this up here. This was a video called Naked Lunch and the Nature of Adaptation. And this was about the 1995, was it? I think it was 1995. Maybe 1992. I forget the film Naked Lunch by David Cronenberg, obviously based very loosely on the novel by William S. Burroughs, and that was the point. The very loose nature of it, I actually think, enhanced the art of what you end up with in the movie, which is very different from the book. And I talk about the fact that I don't think books and other mediums should be directly adapted to the screen in almost an identical fashion by the very nature of what the mediums can and are able to convey. Then there's this video, which was called Leveraging Platforms as your Soapbox. So this was kind of a political video. And it was about how I didn't really like that as a general trend of people after the election and before the election for that matter, using their celebrity or their status to just bark out political opinions, especially to say very inaccurate or skewed or quite ignorant statements. Well, an area where I noticed this was very prevalent, which is really saddening, was people who had channels that were, for example, Twitter accounts to post quotes or to curate other people's great thoughts. And then they were using these Twitter channels during the time of the election to try and just sway voters to the side of the candidate they felt was most deserving of the job, or especially against a candidate they thought should not win. This video here, it's called Media Bias and the Portrayal of Trump. So it was another political video. And this was actually going through examples of where people had said that Donald Trump is a racist or a sexist or whatever else, and particularly that he hates gay people. And so I was going through a lot of the ones that said he was homophobic, because this is obviously a key slander that to this day has a very large effect, because now a lot of people accept homosexuality as, in some sense, an acceptable part of society, and they don't think there's any issue with it. Therefore, to be labelled a homophobe is still carries a great stigma with it now, more so than it did in the past. So I went through all these examples of the best examples of the fact that he's supposedly a homophobe, and I pick apart that the context has been purposely removed, obscured, obfuscated to present them and skew your perception of what the quote actually was and what it meant. Then there's this video here called The McGregor Saga, which was after Conor McGregor beat Eddie Alvarez to win the lightweight UFC title and therefore hold the lightweight and the featherweight titles. I go through winning that fight, what I think of Conor McGregor, like his status within the UFC, his kind of history as a fighter, like what it might take to beat him and the types of fighters that they should put him against next. I did a video called Unfolding the Bard McKenna, which was an influencers video. And this is someone who had quite an influence on my life, because he was a visionary psychedelic thinker, an orator, and he's someone who had an incredibly eclectic knowledge of the world and a fantastic way to weave together a lot of different threads of interest, very syncretic approach to the world and philosophy and different ideas and science and mythology. And my most recent one, this one here, was called The Kindle is a Game Changer, in which I outline the reasons why I think the Kindle, an ebook reader, is a fantastic product and has improved my life, but actually reasons that I've seen quite poorly communicated by the makers of the Kindle themselves and people in general about ebook readers. And I go into some of the reasons as to why people might think that ebook readers aren't that good. I myself thought the same, but in discovering it, I've now understood where I was mistaken there, or where someone didn't properly communicate to me some of the benefits and the advantages of it. So those are the 7 videos I've initially done over on my second channel, and then infrequently, and it'll be frequently as in like once a month or once every twice a month or something, I might do a video like this updating you on other videos I've done on the channel. So for now, goodbye.